Hello, everyone, and welcome to my virtual tour of San Francisco's Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood. My name is Max, and I'm a lifetime San Francisco resident. Today, the tour will focus more specifically on the environmental racism that has occurred and continues to occur in the Bayview. Some of you might be thinking, what is environmental racism? Well, the textbook definition is a type of systematic discrimination where communities of color and low-income communities are disproportionately exposed to environmental hazards like pollution, toxic waste, and lack of access to clean water and green spaces. In this tour, we will experience firsthand the effects of environmental racism, which we hope will help you better understand this topic. Many of you might know the Bayview as a mainly low-income community, with a deep-rooted African American history and one of San Francisco's most significant industrial zones. In the past, these factors made the community struggle to get fair representation and support. Seeing this, the government has viewed this community as easy to exploit and neglect, letting them be a target for industrial pollution and exposure to toxic waste for decades. However, the Bayview community has not taken this without a fight. Years of activism and advocacy have brought forth positive change for the community. Today, we will visit key sites that tell this story, from sites of contamination to places of progress. We are now standing near the former Hunters Point Naval Shipyard. In 1940, as the United States became more entangled in World War II, the U.S. Navy acquired this shipyard, quickly becoming a major center for shipbuilding and repairs. They employed thousands of black workers who moved here from the South seeking wartime jobs and economic opportunities. After the war, the Navy continued using the shipyard, including for decontaminating ships exposed to nuclear weapons testing in the Pacific. Hazardous materials, including radioactive waste, were buried in the soil and dumped into the bay. The damage was already done when the Navy decommissioned the shipyard in 1974. The soil, the water, and the air carried toxins that would impact residents for decades. This site was designated as a Superfund site in 1989, meaning it was one of the most toxic areas in the nation. The cleanup, however, has been slow and riddled with fraud. In 2018, it was revealed that Tetra Tech, the company hired to handle the cleanup, falsified data to make it seem like the area was safer than it was. Today, residents continue to experience disproportionately high rates of asthma, cancer, and other illnesses linked to exposure from this site. We are standing in front of former Pacific Gas and Electric Company's power plant, which has been polluting the air for over 70 years. This plant was built in 1929 in a neighborhood where city officials assumed residents wouldn't have the political power to resist. For decades, the residents breathed in air pollution from the plant, including heavy metals, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter, contributing to alarming high rates of asthma and other respiratory conditions, particularly in children. Studies have shown that Bayview Hunters Point has some of the worst air quality in the city, and this power plant is a significant contributor to the problem. The fight to close the PG&E plant was one of the most significant victories for environmental justice in San Francisco's history. In the early 2000s, local activists, including Green Action and other community-led groups, launched a campaign demanding the plant's closure. Protest lawsuits and community persistence finally forced PG&E to shut it down in 2006. However, despite its closure, the land remains contaminated, and redevelopment efforts have been slow and controversial. One of these redevelopments was opening a new, cleaner power plant. Plans were made but were put on hold, and the plant was never finished. As we arrive at the Southeast Treatment Plant, you might immediately notice the smell. This plant was processed 80% of San Francisco's sewage, and for decades it has been the source of air pollution and water pollution in the Bayview Hunters Point. The treatment plant has long symbolized how specific neighborhoods bear the brunt of the city's infrastructure. For years, the plant emitted pollutants that worsened air quality, and strong odors have made life difficult for those living nearby. After years of activism, the city finally committed to to a $2 billion upgrade project to modernize the plant and reduce its negative impacts on the surrounding community. This raises the question of whether this plan will fall through, just like the PG&E power plant. We now arrive at the India Basin Waterfront Park, a site representing the push for improvement. Unlike the shipyard or the power plant, this area exemplifies what happens when development is done with community input. This $2 million project aims to transform a once polluted shoreline into a public green space with walking trails, recreational facilities, and community areas. When this park plan was created, questions about gentrification were raised. Will longtime residents still be here to benefit from these improvements, or will they be pushed out by rising rent and redevelopment pressures? Community leaders have fought to ensure that it doesn't lead to displacement. Many large-scale projects in San Francisco claim to revitalize neighborhoods, but they often raise property values, pushing out low-income residents and erasing the culture they claim to uplift. Let's recap what we learned today as we finish this virtual tour. The Bayview's Hunter Point has suffered from decades of environmental injustice, but it is also a neighborhood of resilience, resistance, and pride. Numerous activists have pushed for equality and change. We now see some of their hard work paying off. As San Francisco residents, we all have a role in advocating for environmental justice. Let's try to do our part to end environmental racism and repair the Bayview. You can do this by joining advocacy groups like Green Action, or by informing your friends and family about what's happening. All effort helps move Bayview towards a better future. Thank you for joining this tour.
Oh my god, that was